Okay, Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita call. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim Paramanandamaadhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome everyone. So last time we were discussing chapter 2, text number 49 till 54 we discussed. So text 54 is again starting with Arjuna's question. After Krishna has been speaking about Buddhi Yoga, and Krishna is speaking about the glories of Nishkama Yoga, Nishkama Karma. So Arjuna asked a question because Krishna is speaking about a Buddhi Yogi, how a transcendentalist will work, how a Sthita Pragya behaves. So Arjuna is thinking, because Krishna has also mentioned about not doing avaram karma, which is inferior work with the desire for some gain, and Krishna is calling that work as a inferior work or kind of an abominable work. So here now Arjuna asks this question to confirm his doubt, like what does this person really do, this transcendentalist? What does this sthita pragya person do? So his question was, please tell me, how does he, what are the symptoms of a sthit pragya? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he sit? So Arjuna uvacha sthit pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. So, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? Sthita pragya. How does he speak? Kim prabhasheta? Kim asita? How does he sit? Vrajeta kim? How does he walk? So basically, Arjuna want to know what is the behavior of such transcendentalist, how he restrain his senses, and how does he engages his senses, and how does he speak means really basically how does he act out in different situations of life. So now our Krishna is going to give the answer to these four questions. And pretty much till the end of this chapter, Krishna is answering these questions now. So first of all, the word sthita pragya, right? What is the meaning of sthita pragya? We here Prabhupada is translating it as somebody whose consciousness is merged in transcendence. So a transcendentalist. And if we see the literal meaning of sthita pragya, sthita means stable, steady, and pragya means intelligence. So sthita pragya really means somebody whose intelligence is steady, whose intelligence is stable. He does not get bewildered in various situations of life. And that is possible only when somebody is on a platform of transcendence. So that's why Prabhupada is writing as whose consciousness is merged in transcendence. So literally, sthit pragya means somebody of steady intelligence. So Lord Krishna starts to answer questions of Arjuna. So text 55. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmana tushta sthita pragya taduchyate. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Paratha, when one discards all selfish desires and cravings of the senses that torment the mind. Sarvan Partha Manogatan. So when somebody reject all the selfish desire which arise from mental concoction. Atmani eva atmanah tushtha. And when somebody is satisfied in the self, when somebody is satisfied in self-realization, Sthita pragyastaduchyate. Such person is said to be transcendently situated, or such person is said to be of steady intelligence. So the two main characteristics what Lord Krishna is defining here, one is kaman prajati yad kaman manogatan. So to give up the desires which arise from mental concoction. And if we see basically all the desire come from our mind. Mind is proposing various things. The sense demands from the mind, and then mind proposes to the intelligence based on all these various desires. So all the desires which arise from mental concoction. Everyone want happiness. And if we give up all the desires, then it means that give up the desire for happiness also, right? Because to get happy also is a desire. And when we say give up all desire, means give up the desire to become happy also. How is that possible? Because that's an intrinsic quality of the soul. So no, that is not the meaning here. Not to give up all desires, but the desires which arise from mental concoction. Our mind is proposing various thoughts. If you do this, you can become happy. If you get this, then you can become happy. But if we align our desire with desires of Krishna, if we are thinking at the level of soul, and to satisfy those desires is not wrong. So that's why the second characteristic here is to be satisfied in the self. Atmane evatmanah tushtha. So to satisfy in the self, one need to control their mind and route their consciousness in that way. Because mind is the route of consciousness, but soul is the root of consciousness. Right? The consciousness routes through the mind and it goes outward, but soul is the root of that consciousness. Because of the presence of soul, that consciousness is present. Now each fragment is naturally drawn towards its whole, just as a piece of stone is drawn by the force of gravity towards earth, right? If you leave a stone, it will naturally run towards the ground. So same way, we being part and parcel of Krishna, being fragments of Krishna, we are naturally drawn towards Krishna. Krishna is the whole and we are the part and parcel. So the individual soul is fragment of Krishna, and Krishna is the source of infinite bliss. So that's why soul also has that natural urge for bliss. But when we strive to relish the bliss at the level of body, right? When we seek the bliss on the level of body from this material world, then it is called lust. But when we strive to relish that bliss of the soul from the source, from the ultimate source, from Krishna, then it is called the divine love of yoga. So that is the difference. Trying to strive the bliss at the level of body from this material world is lust, but to try to get that bliss at the level of soul from Krishna, to connect with Krishna, that is the real yoga. Then it's called divine love. So that is the difference between a materialist and spiritualist. A materialist is trying to derive bliss from this material world, and spiritualist is trying to derive that bliss from Krishna. So materialists seek pleasure outside, but spiritualists seek pleasure internally. And when we want to seek the pleasure internally, ultimately we have to engage externally first, right? We go to temple, we hear Krishna Katha, we listen to Kirtan, we take darshan of deities, we take prasad. So somebody may say, oh, these are also all external activities. But these are the externals which take us internal, right? So happiness of a devotee, which he is experiencing in internal only. So when we contact Krishna externally, then we awaken internally. Because we need some external stimulus to remind ourselves of Krishna. So otherwise, this material world is like Mrig Trishna. I, I hope all of you have heard this word, Mrig Trishna. This is mentioned in Bhagavatam also, many places, Mrig Trishna, which is just like the mirage seen by the deer. If the deer is running for water and he reaches in a deserted land, because of the sun rays, he sees the reflection on that hot desert and it creates the illusion of water. And the deer thinks, oh, there is water little ahead, and he run towards it to quench his thirst. But then more it runs towards the water, the more this mirage fades away, and then at certain other distance he thinks, oh, that water is there, again he runs towards that, and ultimately this deer, running behind that mirage, he gives up his life. Out of thirst he dies. So same way in this material world, the happiness in this material world is like the mirage. We think if I get little bit that, I will become happy. We run behind that, but again it slips out of our hands. So it is just like the illusion. And the material energy, Maya, right, that also creates that illusion of happiness. And we keep running behind that illusion in the hope of becoming happy in this world. Now, I'm not saying there is no happiness at all in this world. Yes, there is little happiness, but that happiness is just like a drop of water compared to the ocean of water. And that drop of water cannot quench our real thirst. So, this example of Mrig Trishna, it explain how we are running behind the false happiness within this material world. Actually, in Garud Puran also there is a verse which says everybody want to get something higher. A king, he want to become the emperor of the whole world. The emperor aspires to become celestial god. He thinks emperor of this world may think I want to get the kingdom of heaven, Swarga. In the Swarga, the Devata, they think I want to get the position of Brahma. So in that way, the thirst for material enjoyment does not get satiated. Everybody is looking for something higher. And now the second part, which it was saying, is somebody who is satisfied in the self. So what does that mean? What is the meaning of being self-satisfied? Because people may say, oh, just look inside and find peace inside. Is that the real purpose, or is that the real meaning? That's a very simplistic idea, right? People may still think at the level of mind and consider it to be internal, because many times people think, oh, just look inside and you will find happiness, and all they are trying to do is just make the mind peaceful. They think, oh, just remove the thoughts from the mind and you will become peaceful. But that is also external only. That's not really looking internal. Looking internal means looking at the level of soul. So when we connect at the spiritual level, that is really looking internal. So the text 55, Krishna gave two characteristic of somebody who can be considered as a sthita pragya. First characteristic is somebody who gives up the desires which arise from mental concoction. And the second characteristic was to be self-satisfied. Self-satisfied means to look happiness at the level of soul by connecting with Krishna. Now text 56. Text 56, Krishna will give another characteristics further. दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमना सुखेषु विगतः स्पृहा भीतराग भय क्रोधा स्थितधीर munir uchyate. So again, Krishna here also gives two further characteristics. Okay, so keep noting down the characteristics here, the sutras, to become a sage of steady intelligence. So the third and fourth characteristic which is defined in this verse is one who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness. So basically, somebody who is equipoised in both distress and happiness. Okay, so that is third characteristic mentioned in this verse. The fourth mentioned in this verse is Bhitarag Bhaya Krodha. Somebody who is free from attachment, Bhitarag, Bhita Bhaya, and Bhita Krodha. So somebody free from attachment, free from fear, and free from anger. That is called Sthita Pragya, the sage of steady intelligence. So let's look at the first characteristic mentioned in this verse. Somebody who is not disturbed among the miseries, or he is not elated when there is happiness. So if you remember, we discussed this golden sutra earlier also. Sukh mein uchle nahi, dukh mein fisle nahi. This is again what Krishna is mentioning, same thing here. So he is not too much elated in happiness, doesn't start jumping when gains something, or he doesn't just sit down and start crying when he loses something or when there is some misery. And threefold miseries, we all know what are the threefold miseries. Adi Atmik Kalesh, Adi Bhautik Kalesh, Adi Daivik Kalesh. So misery caused by our own body and mind, Adi Atmik. Adi Bhautik is misery caused by other living entities. Adi Daivik, misery is caused by the higher nature. So, like if there are some earthquake or some tsunami or something, right? Too much cold, too much heat, too much snow. These kind of miseries are Adi Daivik, caused by higher nature, which is not in our control. Adi Bhautik is miseries caused by somebody in front of you, other living entity, like your boss yelling at you, shouting at you. It could be your children who doesn't listen to you and trouble you so much. It could be your spouse. It could be your neighbor. It could be the dog of the neighbor. It could be a mosquito. So any miseries caused by other living entities. Then Adi Atmik is miseries caused by our own body and mind. Our body gives us so many problems. Our mind is the biggest cause of problem, anyways. So one who is not disturbed because of the misery, or is not too elated when there is happiness. So that is the characteristic of a sage of steady intelligence, Sthita Pragya. For example, there could be a sannyasi or there could be some bhikshu, right? Generally, what happen is, if that bhikshu goes outside and asks for some alms, he is begging. Somebody gives him something, then he start blessing. He becomes happy. Oh, this person is giving me something, so he becomes happy and start blessing. And if at the other house somebody chastise him, oh, you look like so healthy person, why you are begging? Just run away, run out of here. So somebody start yelling at him, chastise him, then he becomes angry and he start cursing. I curse you, you will never be happy, you will lose everything, this and that. So yogi, a sage of steady mind, is not like that. It's not that when somebody is favorable towards you, then you are pleased with him and you are starting to reciprocate with him favorably, or if somebody doesn't speak politely with you and you start cursing him. So that is not a sage of steady mind, steady intelligence. So dukkheshu anudvignamana, sukheshu vigatah spraha. And that is actually one of the characteristic which we can say how a transcendentalist speak, because speaking is not just by words, it's internal thoughts also. Our mind is constantly speaking with us, mind is constantly telling us many things. So not just speech through tongue, but through the mind also. So Arjuna's question was right, how this transcendentalist, how this Sthit Pragya speaks. So speaking means how he react also in various situation, mentally also. So everybody want pleasure, nobody want distress. If some good comes, then we want more and more of that, right? But if any misery come, some problem come, nobody want that problem. So I will tell you one very wonderful story as a lesson to learn. So once there was a king. So this king is very attached to his kingdom. He's very attached to his subjects, to his opulences and everything. And once he heard that some sadhu is coming to his city, and he thought, I should go and meet this sadhu. I want to ask him. See, I'm too attached to my opulences, to my possessions. So please tell me something how I should stay stable mind. So next day, when the sage came there, settled, was residing in that city, he went to meet the sage. And as he went outside where the sage was staying, that time he was talking to somebody, so he just waited outside. So after a few minutes, he went inside, met the sage, and told him that I am too attached. Please tell me how I can become free from my attachments. So the sage told him, he started writing actually something. So the sage wrote on one paper, folded that paper, then he wrote on another paper, folded that paper, and he told the king, I give you these two letters. This one letter you should open and read when you are very happy. And this second letter, open and read this letter when you are very disturbed, when you are very distressed. So the king made note on that big envelope. This letter to be read in happiness. ये सुख का पत्र है. The second letter to be read in distress. ये दुख का पत्र है. So he kept those two letters with him. Now, after a few days, one of his warrior, his Sanapati or somebody, he attacked on the neighboring kingdom and won that kingdom very easily. So he came and gave the news to the king. So, yeah, I won over that kingdom. And the king became very happy. Oh, so wonderful. Just one Adhirathi or somebody with a little army, he went and won that kingdom. So he was very happy. Then he remembered what the sage had told. Read this letter when you are very happy. So he opened that letter. And in that letter, what was written? This is not permanent. So the king started thinking, oh, the sage is saying this is not permanent. So my happiness is not permanent. And rest assured, what happened after a month or so, the king who had lost, he again assembled his army. He made ties with few other kingdoms and he attacked on this king and he again won over his kingdom back. And now the king again became very distressed. Oh, I had got this kingdom, I lost it again. And that time, even my one small Senapati had won that kingdom. Now my whole army together could not defeat him. So he became very distressed. Now he remembered the second letter the sage had given. So he opened that second letter. What was written? This is also not permanent. This also shall pass. So the king thought now, oh, this distress or this unhappiness or this misery is also not permanent. As the happiness came, this did not stay. Then the misery came, this will also not stay. So the lesson to learn from here, what is to learn? Sometime happiness come, sometime misery come. Both come uninvited. Many times without our endeavor, we gain something, and sometime without our intentions, we lose also. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, one should stay equipoised in both situations. That is the real intelligent person. That is a real uh, sage of steady intelligence who is not bewildered by these two things. Dukkheshu anudvignamana, sukheshu vigatah spraha. So that is the one characteristic Krishna is mentioning here. Now, like another example, the real example we can see from Ramayana, Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra is going to be crowned as the king, right, in the morning, and just few hours before, now he is given the news. You are not becoming the king. Actually, you have to go to the forest, exiled for 14 years. Your younger brother Bharat will become the king. What was the reaction of Lord Ramachandra? Lord Ramachandra said only 4 words. बस इतनी सी बात, right? 4 words, बस इतनी सी बात. Or in English, if we say, is that all? Even short, 3 words. So, is that all? So he was not upset that, oh, today I was going to be the king and now they are sending me to the forest. So either it's happiness, he was not becoming very elated that, oh, I will become the king. Or when he was exiled, he was not distressed that, oh, I lost that kingdom. So being equipoised in both situations. Now, part 2 of this verse, what Krishna is telling, the sage of steady mind, Sthitadhira Muni, what are his characteristics? He is free from attachment, fear, and anger. Bhita rag bhaya krodha. So rag, bhaya, krodha. Rag means attachment, bhaya means fear, and krodha means anger. And one word is put in front, bhita means one who is free from attachment, detached from all these three characteristics. So if we see something, if we want to get something, then if we lose that thing, so you have something, अगर वो चीज हमसे छिन जाए, तो उसके छिन जाने से क्या होता है, उसके छिन जाने का डर रहता है. We always have that fear, what if I lose this thing? So if we have something, then there is always fear of losing that. And if we don't get what we want, then there is anger, right? Then there is frustration कि मुझे क्यों नहीं मिल रहा, why I am not getting that. तो अगर छिन जाने का डर है, अगर नहीं मिले तो उसका एंगर है. So same way, whenever we get some trouble in life, we think I don't deserve this. Then question comes in mind, why me? Why Krishna is putting me in that situation? Somebody is studying very hard, but he does not get good marks. Question come, oh, I worked so hard, I studied so nicely, still I did not get good marks. But on the other side, sometimes other situation also happen. We may study very less and still get good marks, but that time we don't say, right? Oh, I studied so less, I did not do much, I don't deserve these good marks. Do anybody say like that when they get something which they worked very less for that, and when you get that, we don't say, oh, why me, Krishna? Why me? Why are you giving me this much? I don't deserve that much. But whenever we get something which we don't want, then we complain. Right? Why me? Why I am suffering? So all that is because of attachment. And all these attachments are characteristic of mind only. Our mind is proposing all that. Now, Prabhupada, if we see, Prabhupada also had to go through so many problems from his early life also, right? Before he took sannyas and all that, when he was trying to establish his business also. So during his business also, he had to go through many problems. Then he had given up everything. Went to Vrindavan, he took sannyas, then he wanted to come to USA. He had to go through so many challenges. And when he came to USA also, still there also, he had so many challenges in the initial days of establishing ISKCON. But he was not bewildered by all that changes. Dukkheshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigitaspra. And then our problem is when we have this so much of raga. Raga means I don't want this, I want that. But a devotee should think, no, whatever the situation is, either I have a resource or I don't have, I want to serve God. Whatever situation I have or whatever resources I have, I want to serve Krishna. So attachment, fear, and anger are all caused because of our mind only. How our mind bewilders us because of thinking this belongs to me or this does not belong to me. If something happens to some object which belongs to us, then we have a different set of reaction. But if something happens to somebody else, or somebody else's property, then we have a different set of reaction. Another very instructive story. So once there was a very rich person, okay, and this rich person, he built a very nice custom house, custom bungalow. Now anybody can understand when somebody invests time and money to make a custom house, right? Putting all the things of their liking in that house, whatever different marbles or different flooring and all these things. So one really naturally becomes attached to that. So this person, he built a custom bungalow. Now he is very attached to this. This is my house, my bungalow. And other people, actually many people liked that house and they wanted to buy that house. Many people approached him that we will pay you much more than what it is worth. So you please sell it to us. But this person, because he is very attached to his house, he did not consider selling. So time is passing by. He went on a business tour, and after he came back from his business tour, as he approached his home, he saw a lot of crowd assemble in front of his house. There's so much crowd, people are standing. He pushed through the people and went in the front, and he saw the house was on fire. This house is burning and this fire is increasing, and this person started crying. He started yelling, mera ghar, my house is burning. And then as he's crying, his elder son came there. He said, Father, why are you crying? He said, why should I not cry? My house is burning. Why should I not cry? And they said, Father, don't worry. Actually, what happened when you were on the business trip? One person approached me. He wanted to buy the house. He said, I will pay you 1.5 times the house. I said, no. He said, I will pay you 2 times the value of the house. I said, no. He said, I will pay you 3 times the value of the house. And because he was giving me such a good deal, I accepted. So I signed the deal. I sold that house. So this house is not ours now. We have already sold that house. And this person immediately stopped crying. Arey, mera ghar nahi hai. So this is not my house which is burning. And he is now also just standing there like the other standard-bys, and he's looking, oh, somebody's house is burning. How does it matter to me? Mera ghar nahi hai. Now the second son came running. Father, our house is on fire. Why are you not reacting something? Why are you not doing something? And the father said, no, no, he already sold the house, so it's not our house. And the second son said, actually, that person gave only 10%. Abhi to 10% byaana liya hai sirf, right? The initial thing. And 90% is still to be paid. And who is going to pay for the ashes? The house is already burned. So who is going to pay 90% remaining amount? So we have lost everything. Again, this person started crying. Oh, mera ghar jal gaya, mera ghar jal raha hai, mera ghar, mera ghar. So because now mind is proposing, oh, this is your house only, and this is burning. So again, he started crying. Again, the third son came running. Father, why are you crying? Actually, we haven't not lost anything. I just got a phone call from the buyer, and he's such a gentleman. Even though he had given 10% only, but he called me. Even he came to know the house is on fire. But he said, promise is promise. I was already going to buy. I already made the promise to pay another 90%. Who knew this house will be on fire? So I'm still going to pay you the remaining amount. Word is a word. I will keep my word. So we haven't lost anything. We will be getting our money. Again, this person became calm. This person became said, "Arey, mera ghar nahi hai, mera ghar nahi hai." Nothing lost. So what this story is telling is, when we attach ourselves to something with the fear of losing that, so either we have a fear of losing that, or if we don't get something what we want, then it results into anger. And ultimately, all these things, attachment, fear, anger, are caused by the mind only. So, Krishna is telling a sage of steady intelligence is somebody who is free from these three things. Bhita raga bhaya krodha. Like the another real instance is Janak Maharaj. Once Janak Maharaj was sitting with Yajnavalak Rishi, okay, in his kutia. As he is discussing with Yajnavalak Rishi, one of the guards, one soldier came running. One messenger came running to Janak Maharaj. Maharaj, Janak, your palace is on fire. And Janak Maharaj still kept sitting quietly and discussing with Jagyavalak Rishi. And this person heard that, oh, no reaction, nothing happened. So Janak Maharaj said, when I am sitting with my guru, when I am talking with my guru, I have the happiness of all the three worlds. How does it matter if something is on fire? So, complete detachment, not having that attachment, thinking, oh, this is mine, and reacting when there is some distress. He is, or when you lose something, filled with distress, or when you gain something, then filled with happiness. So, being equipoised in both situations. But our situation is what? We are too attached with our possessions or with our wrong habits also. Right? We don't want to give up something. Even though we keep hearing, we should not do this, we should not do that, we should give up this thing. But we are too attached. Rather than giving our habits, we develop anger towards the person who is telling us not to do. Once one person, he was reading the newspaper. Okay, and in the newspaper there was a news, or 8% died because of excess or excess drinking alcohol. So they drank too much, and because of that they died. 8 people died. And this person read that news, and he said, kal se band. So from tomorrow onwards I will stop. And so this person was also a drunkard. So this person, after reading the news, he said, kal se band. And his wife became very happy. So from tomorrow onwards you will stop drinking. He said, no, I did not say that. I said, kal se band. Kal se newspaper padna band. I will not read this newspaper. See, it's giving all nonsense news here. So that is our situation, right? What happened? We come to temple, we come to Bhakti Vriksha program, Satsang program. We hear so many nice things, nice discourses, and many times it is talking about the regulative principles. Oh, one should not do this. One should follow this principle. No meat eating, no onion garlic, no tea coffee, no intoxications, all that. And many people, they think, oh, this is too much. These people always keep putting impositions only. Don't do this, don't do that. Better I will stop going there. I will not go to satsang anymore. I will not come to temple. That is the situation of people, because so much attachment with our possessions or with our habits, we don't want to change. We don't want to change for better. We think, oh, I'm all right. Whatever is happening, I'm all right. Let me just continue like that. So we get disturbed so easily in this world with small, small things. And Krishna is telling here, if you really want to progress in spiritual life, the characteristics of a steady person, a person with steady intelligence, these are the characteristics. So now text 57. यह सर्वत्र अनाभिस्नेह तत्तत् प्राप्य शुभ अशुभम ना अभिनंदन्ति ना द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठितः. So in this material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Tasya pragya pratisthita. So again, the another characteristic which Krishna is giving here of a sage of steady mind, steady intelligence, is who is not affected by whatever happens with him, either good or bad, shubha or ashubha. So whenever any shubha happens, auspicious thing happen or something inauspicious happen with him, na abhinandanti na dveshati. Either neither he is praising, when something good happens, he is not praising it, or when something bad happens, he is not criticizing, he is not doing envy towards that, dveshati. So that is the next characteristic which Krishna is mentioning here. So generally we are concerned about, or we are focused on result, right? We want good result. If we don't get the good result, then we get frustrated. But Krishna has been telling in the previous verses also, don't focus on result. It doesn't mean don't be concerned about result. So even Prabhupada was concerned about result. He was not focused on result. Like Prabhupada will talk about book distribution. One should increase book distribution. But if it does not happen, it's not affecting him. Either he is speaking to 10,000 people in a big pandal program, or he is speaking to a single person in his room. Right? For him, both are same situation. So he is thinking, I need to do my part. If the other person get the benefit, get the result or not, now that's up to them. So we have to do our part, but without being focused too much on the result. Yes, you do your best, be concerned about it, but don't get affected when you don't get what you wanted. So Prabhupada was not trying to impress anybody. He was same either in his personal life, or when he is in a private room, or when he is in front of people in public. So in public or in private, his behavior was same. He was not trying to impress anybody. Actually, there was one devotee who wanted to test Prabhupada, who wanted to observe him very carefully. Right? How is this sannyasi, this sadhu's behavior? Is this really a genuine sadhu? So he spent time with Prabhupada. Every time he is going with Prabhupada, he is in car with Prabhupada, observing him. And later on, actually, this person, he confessed that I was trying to test this sannyasi, this sadhu. I was trying to observe him, that how is his behavior when he is among people in public and when he is in his private room. But I did not find any difference in his behavior. He is same either in public or in private. Because in public we try to impress others, our behavior is something different. But in private we have a different behavior, different character. But for Prabhupada it's all same. So what our situation is, often when we gain success, then we put our guards down. Right? When sometimes good happens, good comes, it actually becomes upheaval for us. Like in Mahabharat war also, we know when they killed Abhimanyu, after that Arjuna wanted to kill Jarasan. Not Jarasan, Jayadratha. Arjuna wanted to kill Jayadratha, and Arjun took a vow that I will kill Jayadratha before the sunset. If I am not able to kill him, then I will enter into fire. So the whole day they are trying to protect Jayadratha, the Kaurava army. And as the time is passing, Arjuna is not able to reach up to Jayadratha. So the sunset happened. Arjuna is finally, they are telling Arjuna, now give up your dhanush, give up your arrows, and you should enter into fire. So Jayadratha became too happy, too ecstatic, because he thought something good happened with me. Right? It is shubh for me, auspicious. And he let his guards down. He himself came in the front. And that was all Krishna's Maya. Krishna has put the sun down, and immediately when Jayadratha came forward, Krishna again brought the sun up, and Arjuna took the bow and arrow and shoot Jayadratha and killed him. So when something we see something good happening with us, we put our guards down. We think, oh, now I have got it. Now I don't have to bother too much. I don't have to worry too much. So, but one should not get affected by the pleasures or pain or the shubh or ashubh. Now, why is that? It will Krishna describe in the next verses when he speak about how such person restrain his senses and how he engages his senses. So in text 57, Krishna is saying the Sthita Pragya, he is equal in good or evil. He is unaffected by whatever good or evil comes his way, neither praising it nor despising it. So he is perfectly fixed in knowledge. Now, text number 58. Yada samaharte chayam kurmo angani vah sarvashah indriyan indriyanarthe abhyas tasya pragya pratisthitah. So one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects As the tortoise draw its limbs from within its shell, that person is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So here Krishna is speaking about how such person sits. Arjuna's question was, right, how that person sits. Indirectly, Arjuna's question is basically how such person restrain his senses. So here Krishna is saying he withdraw his senses from the sense object, giving the example of a tortoise, how tortoise withdraw its limbs within the shell. Whenever the tortoise sees some danger, immediately he will pull his head, his arms, legs inside that shell. So he, same way such person, sthita pragya, he withdraw his senses from the sense object. Now, how one can detach from externals, that is what is being explained here, right, with the example of tortoise. Because our senses are our weak point, and Maya always strike at our weakness. As in a war, right, the opponent is always looking for the weak point. The opponent is always looking for the weak point of his opponent. Like in a war, they will try to seek out which side, which entrance of the army is weak, so that they can enter through that one. Or in the cricket match or in the boxing match, they want to see the weakness of the other team, other person, so that they can hit it there. So hit where it hurts the most, right? That's how their strategy is in a boxing match or in a something like that. So hit where it hurts the more, so that the person can be brought down quickly. So same way for us, Maya is always striking us which of our senses are weak. Where is our weakness? Somebody's weakness, maybe they are too attached to eating something. Somebody's weakness is they are desiring of watching something. So somebody has some weak point, and that's where Maya strikes. So our senses are the weak point, then we have to guard our weakness. If we keep ourselves too much exposed, then what will happen? Then we become easy victim of Maya. So we have to know when to withdraw our senses and when to engage our senses. For example, now the whole media is trying to catch our eyes, right? The social media, all the news channel also, those are the source of entertainment. So everybody is trying to catch our attention. And as devotees, we should understand where to engage and where not to engage. If we start seeing one video, what happened? You search something on YouTube, even though you may be looking for some health related tips. So you watch one video for some health related tip. After that, it will start showing you many other similar videos. Oh, you will like this also. You should watch this also. Then some other video pops up. Then another video pops up. And if we keep going like that, later you realizes how much time we have spent one after another watching something or other. We wanted to maybe get some little information about something, but ended up spending so much time. Same thing on Facebook. People go on Facebook, you read one post, then you keep scrolling down. Oh, let me read one more post. Let me see what this person has posted, or let me see what this person has posted. So you keep going down, 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 surfing more and more, and you realize how much time is gone into that now. One person was actually telling me, uh, Mataji, his wife has too much of attachment with some shopping. Right? She will look for something on the Facebook, like there is a Facebook marketplace also, right? So they keep searching something. Even so many advertisements come on Facebook also. All these days, everything is like machine learning or artificial intelligence. It is capturing everywhere. You watch one video and YouTube will promote other recommendation. Oh, this is also a good fit for you. All that is what? Machine learning, artificial intelligence. They understood your liking, what type of things you want to watch, and they keep bringing those things forward. And Facebook also, so you search something in Google that I want to maybe search for some particular thing. Let's say uh, plant. even just a plant or a hydroponic light. Now you go to Facebook, you will start seeing the ads related to what you had searched. You go to Amazon, you will start seeing the products which you had searched earlier. All that is all based on machine learning, artificial intelligence. Everybody is trying to catch our attention. And if we get into too much into these things, what will happen? Easily we get drained into that. We get completely pulled up into, sucked up into that. So we need to keep our guards on. We need to have our radar antenna very strong. Keep looking for the danger. Like the enemy, right? The army at the border, they have their radars flashing the lights everywhere, where the danger may come to detect the enemy. So same way we have to keep our guards on rather than putting our guards down. Generally, in our situation, that's what happened. We put our guards down rather than seeking for the enemy. We welcome and embrace the enemy. That, oh, this video popped up, let me watch this. Or this Facebook post popped up, let me look into that. So we so easily put our guards down. So that's why Krishna is saying here, a sthita pragya is somebody who withdraw his senses from sense object. Now it's very easy to say. I'm telling from my experience also, we get so easily sucked up, like for myself also. We watch one video and then you think, oh, this next video will be posted. So keep thinking, oh, they will post this video, so I should watch that. Now, Krishna is very clearly explaining here with the example of tortoise how we should guard ourselves from the sense objects. So Prabhupada also explained in the purport how the devotee engages his senses. The senses of a Krishna conscious person are used only for some particular purpose in service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. Okay, so same way, giving the example of YouTube or Facebook. Yes, we want to use the social media, we want to use it in service of Krishna. So we may go and post something, some nice post to convey some message for the people, some Krishna conscious post, some Krishna conscious video. But you do your business and come out. Now don't start surfing other things, right? Just like the tortoise. Withdraw your senses from sense object. So Prabhupada is saying a person, he engages for some particular purpose in service of the Lord and withdraws otherwise. So that's how we have to follow this practice. Now, text number 59, I will explain that also briefly because then it will kind of summarize in one way. And from text 60 onwards, maybe we'll continue in the next session. So, text 59, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopayasya param drishtva nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So, in the previous verse, Krishna said, restrain your senses, right? Restrict your senses from the sense object. In the next verse, Krishna is saying, yes, even though somebody may restrict from sense enjoyment, but the taste for those sense object remain. Somebody may keep thinking, I don't want to eat rasgulla, I don't want to eat rasgulla, but the desire is there for rasgulla, the taste for rasgulla is still there, or whatever your favorite item is, you can think of that. So, but here Krishna is saying, but ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, then it is possible, right? Otherwise, just forcibly restricting is not very useful. But when we develop a higher taste, for example, somebody is interested in eating non-veg, or somebody thinks, oh, without onion garlic there is no taste in the food. But when somebody start develop a higher taste without onion garlic, when they make nice preparation, when they eat that preparation, their higher taste develop, then it becomes very easy to give up those lower tastes. So just restricting is not enough, but by engaging in higher taste, then that person is fixed in his consciousness. So here Krishna uses the word niraharasya dehinam. Ahar. Ahar is food. Generally, we think food for the stomach, right? Food for the mouth. But here, the every senses have their food. And when the senses do not get their sense object, they feel as if they are hungry. For the ear, the food is some nice music, listening to something. For eyes, the food is to watch something. For tongue, of course, the food is to taste something nice. So, like that, every senses, for them, their sense objects are their food. And when we restrict the senses from their sense object, the senses feel deprived of their food, deprived from their food. But we should develop a higher taste. Then it becomes easy to control the senses. Just like the person who is too addicted to drinking, somebody who is alcoholic, he thinks alcohol is essential for me, right? That is not essential, but he is attached to it now. He cannot live without that. I, I remember during the COVID time when everything was locked down everywhere and only very essential business have to be open. Surprisingly, the liquor shops were declared as essential business. That is the unfortunate situation of this world because they think, oh, we cannot live without alcohol. Even if we are just locked down into our houses, how will we pass our time? So we have to drink and just relax at home. That's how they think. So somebody who is too attached to alcohol, he thinks alcohol is essential for him. So it's not essential. We make mistake thinking irresistible to be essential. That person is not able to resist his desires and he thinks it's essential for me. So same way we have to understand different sense objects, they attract us, they attract the senses towards them. It may be irresistible, but it's not essential. So with intelligence, one need to understand that. So only a person when he get a higher taste, then he is able to control his senses. That's why Krishna uses the word here, drishtva. Drishtva is related to vision, right? Not taste. So it means develop a higher vision. And higher vision is based on the intelligence, based on that um, higher spiritual intelligence. So with that, Krishna is giving the basic answer to Arjuna's question. How does a Sthita Pragya person behaves? How does he speak? How does he restrain his senses? How does he engages his senses? Now, text number 60 onward, Krishna will elaborate further on this topic. So, control, concentrate, and then conquest. So, tolerate that, concentrate on the higher purpose, and then win over. So, we'll discuss from text 60 onwards in the next session. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Okay, we'll open for any discussion, any questions, comments.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have a question here. One of the things is sometimes people say buddhi, then medha and pragya, and they make a difference. If I understand correctly, medha is a little better, but pragya is the purified mind. Have you heard that kind of thing?
I have heard the three terminologies. So that is basically, as you said, Medha. Medha means intelligence, but our intelligence is absorbed in the materialistic things, right? So that's Medha. And then Pragya is when that intelligence has been purified. All three words are used in scriptures: buddhi, pragya, medha, at different places in different contexts.
The second question I was just, when you look at the 12th chapter of Gita and buddhi,
Mhm.
samatva, everything kind of falls in the same way, like, and gunatit, you will see that all the similarity, Krishna is describing that state in all different ways. And in 12th chapter, he does the same thing, samasha, man up, man, and all the seventh or I think the last 6 or 7 stanzas are just like this.
So there in 12th chapter,
Very
those
similar.
13 to 20, Krishna is describing the qualities of a devotee there. Not somebody just who has controlled his mind, his intelligence, but beyond that, somebody is practicing the process of devotional service. So the chapter 12 is titled as Bhakti Yoga, right? So it's a glories of devotional service. And Krishna is telling the qualities of a devotee, that a devotee, what kind of devotee is dear to Krishna. So there he tells those qualities, who is equipoised in this situation, man apman, sukha dukh, and all those things. So those are really the qualities of pure devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, the Lord Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else has anything?
So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
So,
Krishna, Sanda
we
Prabhu.
have, yes, we have heard about a lot of the great sages.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of incidences where they're not equipoised from the sense of they cursing other people or doing. So, what's your take on them? They have to also learn.
Right. So basically, there is a gradation, right? There is a level. So they are also very advanced. But when some provoking situation come, in that situation, they also are not able to control. And actually, Krishna tells that in Srimad Bhagavatam also. Krishna says somebody may be able to tolerate some physical assault. Somebody is causing them some physical harm, they may be able to tolerate, but to tolerate the sharp words of somebody, the harsh words of somebody is even more painful, because somebody harming physically, that wound can be filled, but somebody has insulted them severely, they have blasphemed upon somebody, or um, spoken very harshly. Those harsh words are like the arrows which pierce the heart, and those words keep harming the person again and again, because by remembering those harsh words he will feel that pain again and again. So there are many sages who are equipoised in the situation of when there is a physical harm, but because of that insult by their words, by somebody's word, they are not able to tolerate that, they are not able to tolerate sometimes such insult, and then they end up losing their cool and they curse. Right, we say he lost his cool. So like Durvasa Muni, he's a very advanced sage, but he is also known for his anger. He becomes angry very quickly. And like that, there are many other examples also. Vishwamitra, when he was practicing earlier, before reaching that stage of Brahma Rishi, he became distracted because of the allurements of Menaka or Rambha, and then he cursed them. So these situations have happened. But Krishna is telling a level of a topmost devotee, in the sense a sage of steady mind, steady intelligence, who is equipoised in all these situations. And of course, it's a very rare situation, right? It's very rare to find a person to that level of consciousness. But nonetheless, we should strive for that. We may not be at 100%, but at least get to 70%, 75%, 80%. So we have to move somewhere. We cannot say, oh, there is no possibility to reach that stage, so why to even try? No, we will try our best, whatever best possible we can do, even though some situations we may not be able to control our emotions fully. We may vent out that time, but slowly, after a few minutes, then you realize, no, 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 I should not have acted like that, right? You start getting that intelligence back, that, oh, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling these are the quality one should have. So I should try to tolerate. I should not act in this way. So we at least become calm down in that situation. Just like we hear in Bhagavad Gita, we are not the body, we are the spirit, soul, and we should not become upset people will come and go, right? Our relatives, our family member, our close circle, everybody has to die one day. We should not be upset with that. But when somebody really in our circle, some near and dear one dies, we still cry. We still feel that emotion because that's very natural. But because of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we become pacified quickly. We can accept that reality very quickly. But a person who is not equipped with this knowledge, for that person who will be under the state of lamentation for long time, he will be still going through all these emotions of distress, lamentation. Why did this happen to me? But a person with knowledge, he is pacified, he calms down quickly, he brings his emotions under control.
Thank
Does
you,
that
Prabhu.
answer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, similar to what Prabhu just asked, I had a question on. So, in one of the shloka, Sthita Pragya is referred as munis, with the example of the muni. The second one with the sense is referred as yogis. So, and at many places, so like we see Narad Muni, and then we also, as you said, Durvasa Muni, and also Muni is referred to a lot of the in there. So, what is actually the difference between Muni and yogis or swamis or rishis? That's they're addressed
Technical.
interchangeably many places, but
Yes.
then there should be something.
So technical question, what is the difference between a yogi, muni, swami? So Prabhupada writes, actually muni comes from the word moni, and muni is somebody who is doing some sort of speculation. Okay. So, but here we see Narada Muni, right? It is described as Muni. Actually, we people write the word Muni with Narada Muni, but Narada is Deva Rishi, Narad Deva Rishi, Deva Rishi Narada, right? That's his actual designation. People, because not understanding the difference in these terms, Muni, Rishi, Swami, Deva Rishi, all that, people just use all these terms, mix up interchangeably, they use these terms. But the Muni is somebody who is still at the level of mental speculation. And Rishi is somebody who is trying to control his senses and mind. And Yogi is somebody who's connecting with the Lord, either in the Paramatma form or in the form of as a personality, as a personal form. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, in all situation, become a yogi. Yogi Bhava Arjuna, the last verse of chapter 6. So, yogi is somebody who is connecting with the Supreme. And Swami, of course, the definition of Swami or Goswami, Swami is somebody who is the controller of senses. And Goswami generally is one who has controlled all his senses, is called Goswami. There is Godas and Goswami. Swami means owner, right? हम बोलते हैं आप घर के स्वामी हैं. Patni tells the husband, Swami. So Swami means honor, Malik. Goswami means honor of his senses, who have full control over his senses. That is Goswami. So just giving brief description of these various terminology, but there is a specific meaning to different. Without knowing them, people just use interchangeably.
Yeah, and because where this question came up, Prabhu, in that purport, there is a reference that Srila Prabhupada has given, Varna Puran, Nasha Rishi Yasya Matam Na Bhinam. So there's in the purported difference is that Munis have their different angle of vision, which basically I thought that somebody who has realized through the realizations there. But then that Prabhupada is differentiating that between this munis, which have the different of the vision, but then the sthita dhira muni. This is what this is the one who is in transcendent stage.
Yeah, so Muni is basically again same way. Muni is somebody who have their own speculation, so they have their different viewpoints based on their level of speculation, their understanding. And Dhira Muni is who has gone beyond the level of speculation, who is fixed in his intelligence.
So Dhira Muni is another.
Dhira Muni is basically again Dhira or Sthita Pragya is same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dhira means somebody who has controlled his intelligence, steady intelligence.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
So ultimately, after hearing all these verses or reading these verses, what we should introspect is about these characteristics, these qualities, and how we can apply those in our life under various situations, under various circumstances.
And Prabhuji, Krishna also kind of in a 11th chapter, 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, he talks about Muni, I am this, and he differentiates some of those things in the Vibhuti Yoga.
Yes.
He talks about Rishi, I am Bhrigu, and this and that, I am this and I'm that. And in people who kind of, use the arrows, I am Ram, and he kind of describes that all kinds of things.
So that the purpose of that chapter is completely different. That is opulences of the Supreme, and Krishna is telling, he is counting all the different things and the best among in those things, right? So that they are my representation. So that is a complete different description here. We'll talk more in detail when we reach to that point.
Yeah, and there also that doesn't mean that I am this.
Right.
Basically, I'm the supreme in that category.
Right. Yeah. Krishna is just telling that anything wonderful within that category, that's my representation.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Nice class.
Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.